I'm Hande the dietitian, and welcome to Healthy Made Simple, where I show you how to make healthy eating simple. In this video, I will be making a chicken and broccoli pasta with a cauliflower Alfredo sauce. Now, I'm not a big fan of cauliflower. This is one of the few ways I actually enjoy eating cauliflower when I make some Alfredo sauce with it. And it's not going to be like your typical Alfredo sauce that's going to have heavy cream. I'm going to be using lactose-free milk, a little bit of butter, some cheese to create that Alfredo flavor, using mainly cauliflower rice as my base. And then I'm going to pair that with some chicken breast that's going to be sauteed up, with some broccoli that's been steamed, and some pasta that's been cooked to bring it all together for a nice vegetable-filled dish. If you are interested, stay tuned for my chicken and broccoli pasta with a cauliflower Alfredo sauce. Let's go! I'm going to get started with my cauliflower rice, and for that I use this frozen option that I get from Costco that comes in microwavable bags. So I'm going to use one of these bags and put that in the microwave for 8 minutes to cook it up. And you can use any cauliflower rice for this that you like, but this is what I typically tend to buy since we don't make cauliflower rice very often in our house. So having it as a freezer option tends to work better for us. So I'm going to get started with sticking my cauliflower rice in the microwave. And while my cauliflower rice is in the microwave, I'm going to put a pot of water to boil so I can start cooking my pasta. And for my pasta, I'm going to be using this one from Trader Joe's. Now, this isn't a whole wheat option, although it does have a decent amount of protein in there. If you look closely, it's got 7 grams of protein per serving, which is not bad at all for a white pasta. Main reason why I'm using this is because my son picked this out when we were at Trader Joe's, so I'm going to use what I have on hand. But if you want to make this an even healthier pasta dish, feel free to use a whole wheat pasta that will add some extra fiber to your meal. And then after my cauliflower finishes up in the microwave, next I'm going to put in a pack of these frozen broccolis. This is from Costco as well. I use this very often. I do like broccoli, and we eat broccoli relatively regularly around the house, but I typically don't buy it fresh just because we don't eat it probably often enough for me to do fresh. And with fresh, you gotta chop it up and steam it, and I just find this to be way more convenient, these microwavable bags that are already chopped up for the most part, and all you have to do is stick it in the microwave to steam it. But if you just have some fresh broccoli, you're more than welcome to go ahead and steam that a little bit to add it to this dish. But I'm going to get going on the microwave with these frozen broccolis. And once my cauliflower rice is ready, I'm going to stick that into my blender cup. So to make the cauliflower Alfredo sauce, I'm going to be doing it in my blender. So I'll put in the cauliflower rice first, and I do suggest waiting a little bit until it's cooled down if you are going to be sticking it into your blender just like I am, just so you don't have too much heat build up in there. So I do like to let the cauliflower rice sit a little bit after it comes out of the microwave to make sure it's not too steaming hot before I stick it in here. But cauliflower rice into my blender cup first. Next, I'm going to add in some butter, and this is good old butter that I'm using, but you can also use margarine. It's right around 2 tablespoons, I would say. That's going to go in there. Next, I'm going to add a splash of my lactose-free milk. And I do like that with this recipe, I can make this lactose-free for myself, because with Alfredo sauce, even if I take a Lactaid, my lactose intolerance typically does not like it. It doesn't tend to sit well with me, but this tends to sit fine, minus a little bit of gassiness from the cauliflower, which does happen. But since I do have a lactose-free milk going in, and I'm really not adding too much dairy, just a little bit of extra dairy, not, heavy cream status, that it actually does digest better for me. So if you are lactose intolerant, I do suggest doing this as an alternative to Alfredo sauce, which is going to be a healthier option, and it's going to be better and easier to digest. And then I'm going to add in a sprinkle of my cheese just to add a little bit more of a cheesy flavor to it. And I don't put too much, just a little handful for some flavor in there. There we go. And then for my spices, I'm going to do some salt. And I'm not going to do too much since I do have some cheese in there already. That's already got some salt. So a couple rounds of my salt. And I'm going to do some black pepper. That is going to be freshly ground up from my grinder here. And you can always add in more later once this becomes blended up and you add it with everything else that you have going. But I do like to add some flavor as I'm going through. And lastly, I'm just going to add in some garlic powder for a little extra flavor to go in there. And as you can see, I never really measure anything. I just go with what my heart is telling me. Okay, now that I got my spices in there, I'm going to put my blender lid on top. And then I'm going to put this in my blender to blend it up, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, here is our Alfredo sauce all blended up. And if you find that your sauce is too thick, you can always add a little bit more milk at the stage while you're blending it, or you can add some pasta water later on once you're mixing it together with everything else. But this is what I have for my Alfredo sauce. There we go. Now I'm going to set my sauce aside and next work on my broccoli. Now my broccoli is out of the microwave, and these tend to have chunks that are a little bit on the bigger side, which you absolutely can use if you're okay with big chunks of broccoli in your food. You can easily just take it as is and dump this into your sauce, but just to make it a little bit more palatable for us, I am going to chop these broccoli pieces down into smaller pieces. So I'll put it on my cutting board, give these guys a nice chop before I'm going to add them to my sauce. All right, I'm going to chop my broccoli up into pieces right around that size. So relatively small pieces, right around there, I would say, so that it's a little bit easier to eat. It blends in with the sauce a little bit better, and it's not big chunks of broccoli in there. All right, there we go. My broccoli is chopped up into nice little pieces, and then next I'm going to work on chopping up my chicken breast. All right, now I got my chicken breast that's been defrosted, and I gotta be honest, I got a little bamboozled. I thought there was gonna be 2 chicken breast pieces in the pack that I had defrosted, but there was just this one large chicken breast, and I would have preferred to have a little bit more chicken for this, and so it's going to be a little bit lower in protein than I would like, but I'm going to roll with it because I don't have time to defrost more chicken right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on removing these fatty pieces that you're seeing, and then I'm going to chop this up into small pieces once I've dried it up thoroughly. And to make sure this chicken will cook pretty quickly, I'm going to go for relatively small pieces because I'm going to be sauteing that up before I throw in my broccoli and my sauce and my pasta into the mix. So I'm going to go with pretty small pieces of chicken here. I'm going for right around that size. That's what I'm looking for. And there we go. My chicken is chopped up. So let's get to sauteing some chicken. All right, I got my pot going. I'm just going to do 1 pot for this so I don't have to keep getting new pots. So in the pot that I'm going to be adding everything into, I've added in some olive oil and getting that warmed up. And then next, I'm going to add in my chicken. All right, in goes the chicken. And for my seasonings, I'm going to go in with salt. Next will be pepper. Some garlic powder. And then lastly, I'm going to do some oregano. And then we'll give these guys a good mix around to saute up those chicken breast pieces. Once your chicken no longer looks pink, that it looks relatively cooked, next you're going to add in all of that broccoli that you chopped up. All right, once all of that broccoli is in there, you're going to give that a nice stir. All right, you're going to stir those together. There we go. Nicely filled with veggies. And next you're going to add in that cauliflower Alfredo sauce that we had made earlier, and I'm going to dump in all of it. And you can see my sauce is looking relatively thick, so I do think I'm going to add in some of that pasta water to help thin it out and make it a nice creamy sauce that's not too thick. And you can go based off of what you prefer in terms of how thick you like your sauce, but for me this is just a tad too thick right now. All right, I added in some pasta water to my blender cup to get all those last bits of sauce in there. And then I'm gonna give this a nice good mix around. And there we go. My sauce and my veggies and chicken are really starting to come together. So I'm going to close the lid on that for just a few minutes so that it can cook up and make sure that chicken is cooked through. All right, let's give this a nice stir around. I did end up adding just a touch more pasta water in between there just to help loosen it up a little bit. And this is really starting to come together. All right, in goes our pasta next. All right, I'm gonna put in our cooked pasta. There's all my pasta in there, and I'm just gonna salt it because I have not salted my pasta just yet. So I wanna make sure that it's nicely flavorful. And then we'll give this a nice stir around and make sure everything mixes together. And there we go. There's that chicken and broccoli Alfredo sauce made with cauliflower along with my pasta. This looks absolutely delicious. And you can probably top it off with maybe a little bit of Parmesan or something for some extra creamy, cheesy flavor. And there we go. Just like that, we have our chicken and broccoli cauliflower Alfredo sauce pasta dish. And I made a nice big pot, so I know that's going to last us a few meals this week. I hope this video helped give you an idea of how you can make a dish like this and use a vegetable as your base for your sauce, especially for a creamy sauce that you're going for. Using cauliflower is a great way of adding more vegetables while also cutting back on some of the fat that you would typically get from a dairy product that you would use to get that level of creaminess. And thank you so much for watching my videos. If you have not already done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for my future videos where I will continue to show you more recipes like this that make healthy eating easy and simple. Thank you again for staying tuned, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.